volunteer capacities. The Miller family has a deep connection to Agawam as Ranger's father, General Miller, also served on the Agawam Council. Ranger has had a long career as a camper with 7 camper years, all of them as a full-season camper. A member of the senior club in 2024. He's also served in a volunteer role last summer in 2025, and now finally as a staff member in 2026. Ranger leads the Ranger Trail activity and is a prominent part of our councils this summer. In just his first summer on staff, Ranger has stepped into several roles admirably and continues to help build the Agawam way. I'm very pleased to introduce Ranger Miller as our speaker for Vespers today.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Ranger.
Alright, so today I'm here to talk to you all about 2 key concepts of Agawam. Culture and buying in. So as I said before, today I'm here to tell a story about culture and how it relates to Agawam and this concept of buying in. Hearing from our camper speakers and from the choir, I think that their message emphasizes the need to protect our culture here at Agawam and make sure it continues to thrive. But first things first, let's start off with what is culture. It turns out to be a really hard thing to define. According to Merriam-Webster, culture is a shared set of beliefs, values, customs, behaviors, and artifacts that characterize a group or society. I don't know if that helped any of you guys, but it sure doesn't really mean anything to me. So I'm going to try and explain culture with a story. One that starts with waking up at 7:30. So visualize this. You wake up to a bugle, immediately followed by a loud, "Morning dip!" After the MOD comes in to tell you to put your feet on the floor, you go to morning dip. At flag raising, you are greeted by a "Good morning, everyone," and immediately your mind goes to a somewhat lazily, "Good morning, Doc." Announcements follow, then breakfast, where you get your hands inspected and line up heel to toe to get into Mason Hall. That's culture. As a community, we enter silently. We eat, we freeze, we mute, we put our napkins in our laps, and then we wait and spray. We probably shush too much, probably lay out for too much lost and found when we're not supposed to. But when is anything perfect? After dismissal, we clean, and we clean, and we clean. An entire community now brought down to a cabin community where you interact with your cabin mates as the radio blasts pop music and you figure out who is doing barrel and grounds. The shoes are on the swept porch, the beds are made, and one of your cabin mates is convinced that you can get a 10 on trunks by simply laying a towel over the whole, all their balls up. Then we hear the first of many Agawam bells, including cabin cleanup. That's culture. You move from the cabin with the cabin, enjoying activities. Maybe it's woodshop, maybe it's soccer. One of the three bells rings then once again, and you walk up or down some sort of hill, a staple of the Agawam experience, to your specialty, where you work on your awards, maybe a ranger, maybe a racing skipper, where you know that this year you'll finally get it. Only if your counselors would have more awards options. Anyway, General Swim then starts, and there's so much for you to do. Of course, you can swim, hearing names from the past called out as guards check their counts. If you do not want to get into the lake, you can always have interesting conversations at fire pits, where often campers will make shavings for the OD, the staff, or they'll ask, and the staff will likely say no. You can play two-ball at the basketball court, or you can recount and look at years past with the office yearbooks to find when your cabin counselor was in length. All options are all open. Following is R&R, where magic is played and campers are told to get back to their campus. Then the bell rings for lunch. Hopefully it's chicken patties. All right. I'm going to stop for a second and take you guys out of the scenario because we're only about 5 hours into the typical Agawam day, and so much culture has been shown. Every little phrase, noise, action, reaction, from making shavings at an OD fire pit to doing barreling rounds is culture. You can start to see that, yes, it's about tradition. It's important to have things the same and consistent in hours, but it's also about community. We do things together, from reveille through the day until taps. But anyway, on to lunch. We eat a family-style meal, passing food around the table, remembering that no one eats until everyone is served. We continue to eat and freeze, and recount stories from the day. When it's time to wait it straight, we play even more games. Pick one of the original cabins, or Ranger Miller trivia, or I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 1,000. The person who guesses it to the left waits, to the right straights. If it's a new camper, we teach them how to wait, because that's what we do. This community is continuous, with the older generations passing knowledge on to the new. It's tradition, and it's also community. This culture has to be taught, experienced, held tight against the chest. Nobody comes to Agawam knowing where to put the cups when the meal is over. They learn it by being here and listening to their peers, their role models, campers and counselors, all working together to bring new people into this community. Anyway, once the lunch table is cleared and wiped down with a rag, we pensively wait for announcements with a vast array of ways to entertain ourselves. You can pass the salt shaker around the table and try to get it on the edge. You can pass a moose and a caribou around. You can play slaps and like a million other table games. The greatest part about them is that they were there when I was 9 at this camp, and they are there now. It's tradition, and it's also community. After announcements, we'll then go back to our cabins and have rest hour. Everyone is supposed to be silent, but when you go back with your cabin mates, you probably end up whispering with each other for the hour. And that's culture too. Personally, I've always had fond memories with my best friends during rest hour. And based on the noise levels I hear now when I'm MOD, likely not a lot has changed. After rest hour, the first bell goes when you wait impatiently on the porch of the cabin with the rest of your boys, gearing up to sprint to first optional. At optionals, you might play a long game, learn how to shoot a bow, bet your mates on a half-court shot in basketball, or play water hoops in first pool. The point is, there are so many different games and activities to do that it's often overwhelming. Towards Ranger Trail, you hear that, "Leo Wolf got his guy!" following by cheers and applause. And that's culture too. Once the bell goes for second optional, then second general swim, you remember that part of your battalion gate is to do your fair share of the work. You notice walking by that the boathouse is a mess. So when no one is looking, you clean it up for the other boys. Now that is especially culture. There are many reasons why we keep coming back, but the biggest is because we take care of each other. This place works when everyone is looking out for each other. Everyone jumping at the chance to help out of the kindness of their heart, because it's simply Agawam. Anyways, during second general swim, you might pass by an evening league game where the camp gathers to watch teams and coaches battle it out, a battleground for having fun and learning sportsmanship. Boys play gaga ball, tether ball, roof ball, spike ball, really anything with the ball. and while doing the one thing that Agawam does best, socializing. It's often said that and seen that these kids these days do not know how to socialize. Agawam forces a small group of around 130 kids to spend 7 weeks together, and they are bound to interact and make memories. I still remember nearly a decade ago when the counselor Slugger Selassie took me around camp my second day when I was homesick, or when the 2017 Ag Captain Quinton Spignesi complimented me on my archery skills. These interactions stay with us, and that's the culture. Hopefully by now, everybody here is getting a better sense of what Agawam culture is. We have our traditions, the things that we say, and we also have an ethos of taking care of each other. It takes a village to raise a child, and this is our village. And well, you guys are children, so. Going back, anyway, to my typical camping day scenario, dinner comes, and you run to hold up the door. Hopefully, you get the right side of the door, so Bruce lets you ring the second bell. In dinner, we go around talking about what we did for options. Staff will tell stories of summers past, and of the left-handed smoke shifter, of Julian Lemert. It's amazing. It's the amazing people here that make up. During evening activities, let's say it's a free evening, you decide to take out a paddleboard on Crescent Lake, the staple of Agawam. The counselor has been convinced, and you'll promise you'll be good, but likely there will be a paddleboard fight. That's joy, that's fun, that's the culture. After retreat and a final basketball shot or a frisbee throw, it's time to brush your teeth and do EXTTBS. Once the book is read, taps are blown, and the day is done. So that was a lot, but going back to the beginning, what is culture and what is the idea of buying in? Well, I hope the story today showed that everything around here is culture. From morning dip to general swim names, from roof ball and slaps, the culture is all around us every day. It's the kindness, it's the compassion and love for this camp that each other that the campers show. It's rushing to help someone when they need it. It's making friends that you would put your life on the line for. It's every joke, smile, tear. It's real, it's cleansing for the soul, and it's beautiful. And if you can understand all of that, you are bought in. You'll keep coming back. And on a long, long trail later this summer, when you hug everyone in the camp and as you say goodbye for the year, you'll understand, and you'll be back. Until we meet again, and thank you.
The ride just the other day, he came to the world in the usual way. There were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking before I knew it. And as he grew, he said, "I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you." And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you coming home, Dad, I don't know when. We'll get together then, son. You know we'll get together then. My boy turned 10 just the other day. Said, "Thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw?" Said, "Not today. I got a lot to do." He said, "That's okay." And he walked away, but his smile never came. Said, "I'm gonna be like him. Yeah, you know I'm gonna be like him." And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you coming home, Dad, I don't know when. We'll get together then, son. We'll get together then. Well, he came home from us just the other day, so much like a man just had to say, "Son, I'm proud of you. Can you sit for a while?" He shook his head and he said with a smile, "What I really like, Dad, is to borrow the keys. Can I have them, please?" And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy
the message today as we begin to launch into the heart of our second half. The message about camp culture and specifically Agawam culture is so central to the magic of camp. I talked a little bit about the magic of camp being the appreciation of the outdoors and beauty of camp in Mary S. Edgar's poem last night, but the cultural part that Ranger discussed today is the essential community bond. And that is central to why people choose to come back to camp each summer. And at the heart of that community bond that we all have, and as Ranger noted, is that we care for each other. Of all the traditions and routines and practices we all go through each day, they all boil down to us striving to be kind, to give back, do something for your neighbor, look out for one another, and buy in. Camp's culture is one where we do operate as a village, and it takes all of us to make it thrive and continue on after we are gone. And that's not to say we can't occasionally let our hair down. In fact, we should. Because at the end of the day, that's camp. I hope that in Ranger's Vespers speech today that you can see how vital combining both the routine and the fun aspects of our culture are to making our village one that thrives for another 107 years. Thank you, Ranger.